Hey there folks, Mike Rowe here, and today, we're diving headfirst into a mystery that's as deep and murky as the ocean floor, the lost city of Atlantis. You know, the one that vanished beneath the waves? Yeah, that one. It's a story that's been told and retold for centuries, whispered by sailors and pondered by scholars. A city of advanced technology and untold riches, swallowed by the sea in a single day and night. Sounds like something out of a movie, right? But the legend of Atlantis has captivated imaginations for thousands of years, and for good reason. It speaks to our fascination with the unknown, the allure of lost civilizations, and the humbling power of nature. We're drawn to the idea of a society that existed long ago, perhaps more advanced than our own, wiped from existence in a cataclysmic event. It's a sobering reminder of our own mortality and the fragility of civilization. And the best part? No one can say for sure whether Atlantis was real or just a really good yarn. There's no smoking gun, no concrete proof, just a collection of tantalizing clues and theories that have fueled debate for generations. Some folks dismiss it as pure mythology, a cautionary tale spun by ancient philosophers. Others believe there's more to the story, that somewhere beneath the waves lies the sunken ruins of a once great city. So, buckle up, because we're about to embark on a journey through time and myth, exploring the enduring mystery of Atlantis. We'll delve into the ancient texts, examine the evidence, and weigh the theories, all in an attempt to separate fact from fiction. And who knows, maybe, just maybe, we'll uncover a few surprises along the way. Let's get dirty. Our journey begins with a dude named Plato, a Greek philosopher who lived around 400 BC. This guy was the Socrates of his time, known for his deep thinking and even deeper conversations. Now, Plato didn't exactly discover Atlantis. He heard about it from his older relative Solon, who in turn heard it from some Egyptian priests. Talk about a game of telephone, right? Anyway, Plato wrote about Atlantis in two of his dialogues, Timaeus and Critias, describing it as a powerful island nation that existed some 9,000 years before his time. According to Plato, Atlantis was a utopia, a technologically advanced society with a complex social structure, impressive architecture, and a knack for engineering. They had it all: running water, a network of canals, and even, get this, chariots. Chariots, people. They were way ahead of the curve. But like any good story, there's a twist. The Atlanteans, despite their advancements, became greedy and power-hungry. They waged war on their neighbors, and even threatened to conquer Athens itself. Bad move, Atlantis. See, the Athenians, according to Plato, were a righteous and courageous bunch. They fought back against the Atlantean might, eventually defeating the invaders and saving the day. But their victory was short-lived. The gods, angered by the Atlanteans' arrogance, decided to intervene in the most dramatic way possible. A massive earthquake and subsequent tsunami that sunk the entire island beneath the waves in a single day and night. Talk about a bad day at the beach. Now here's the thing about Plato's account. It's the oldest known record of Atlantis, but it's also pretty much the only one. There's no other independent historical evidence to support his claims. So, was Plato describing a real historical event? Or was he just weaving a philosophical allegory about the dangers of hubris and the impermanence of power? It's a question that's been debated for centuries, and one that we'll probably never know the answer to for sure. Now let's talk location, location, location. If Atlantis did exist, where the heck was it? Well, that's the million-dollar question, isn't it? Over the centuries, people have proposed countless locations for the lost city, each with its own set of tantalizing clues and frustrating dead ends. One of the most popular theories places Atlantis smack dab in the middle of the Mediterranean Sea. And why not? It's a region steeped in history, littered with the ruins of ancient civilizations. Think about it. The Mediterranean was a bustling hub of trade and cultural exchange in the ancient world. The Greeks, the Romans, the Egyptians, they all sailed these waters, leaving their mark on the landscape and in the history books. So it's not a stretch to imagine that another, even older civilization might have existed in the region, one that's been lost to the sands of time. Some folks point to the Minoan civilization, which flourished on the island of Crete around 2700 to 1450 BC, as a possible inspiration for Atlantis. The Minoans were known for their advanced culture, their impressive palaces, and their seafaring prowess. They even had indoor plumbing, which, let's be honest, was pretty fancy for their time. But disaster struck the Minoans when a massive volcanic eruption on the nearby island of Thera, modern-day Santorini, triggered a devastating tsunami. The eruption buried the Minoan city of Akrotiri under a thick layer of ash, preserving it in a time capsule much like Pompeii. The destruction wrought by the Thera eruption was widespread and catastrophic. It's not hard to see how this event, passed down through generations of oral tradition, could have been embellished and transformed into the legend of Atlantis. The timeline, however, doesn't quite match up with Plato's account, and there's no concrete evidence linking the Minoans to the specific details described in his dialogues. Section 4. Beyond the Pillars of Hercules, Atlantis across the Atlantic. Now some folks think the Mediterranean is too small a pond for a fish as big as Atlantis. They reckon we need to cast our nets wider across the vast expanse of the Atlantic Ocean. After all, Plato himself wrote that Atlantis lay beyond the Pillars of Hercules, which many scholars believe refers to the Strait of Gibraltar, the gateway between the Mediterranean and the Atlantic. So, if we take Plato at his word, then Atlantis must lie somewhere to the west, perhaps off the coast of Europe or even further afield in the Americas. This transatlantic theory has gained traction over the years, fueled by the discovery of ancient cultures in the New World that seem to echo certain aspects of Plato's account. Take the Aztecs, for example. They believed their ancestors originated from a mythical island homeland called Aztlan, which some scholars believe might be a distorted memory of Atlantis. Then there's the Mayan civilization, known for its sophisticated calendar system, advanced mathematics, and impressive architectural achievements. The Maya, like the Atlanteans, seem to have possessed knowledge and skills that were ahead of their time. And let's not forget about the enigmatic ruins of Pumapunku in Bolivia, which some believe were built by a civilization with advanced engineering techniques that defy explanation. Could these ancient cultures be the descendants of Atlantean survivors, carrying with them the memories and knowledge of their lost homeland? It's an intriguing possibility, but one that lacks concrete evidence. While the similarities between Atlantis and these New World civilizations are striking, they could just as easily be explained by independent development or cultural diffusion. The vast distances involved and the lack of any direct archaeological evidence linking these cultures to Atlantis make this theory a compelling but ultimately speculative one. Section 5. Ancient Antarctica, a frozen kingdom of myth. Hold on to your hats, folks, because this next theory is a real doozy. Some believe that Atlantis wasn't lost to the sea at all, but is instead buried beneath miles of ice and snow in, wait for it, Antarctica. Yes, you heard that right, Antarctica. Now I know what you're thinking. Antarctica, that frozen wasteland, but hear me out. This theory hinges on the idea that the Earth's crust has shifted over millennia, a process known as continental drift. According to this theory, Antarctica wasn't always located at the South Pole. Millions of years ago, it might have been situated in a more temperate climate, perhaps even in a location that could have supported a thriving civilization. Proponents of this theory point to the Piri Reis map, a Turkish map created in the 16th century that depicts Antarctica with astonishing accuracy, including landmasses that were supposedly unknown at the time. Some claim that the Piri Reis map is evidence of an ancient, advanced civilization that mapped the world long before modern cartographers. They suggest that this civilization, perhaps Atlantis itself, possessed advanced knowledge of astronomy, navigation, and cartography. However, the Piri Reis map, while intriguing, is not without its critics. Skeptics argue that its depiction of Antarctica is based on misinterpretations of earlier maps, and that the supposed accuracy of its depiction of the continent's coastline is exaggerated. Moreover, there's no geological evidence to support the idea that Antarctica was ever located in a climate suitable for human habitation at the time Atlantis is said to have existed. While the idea of a lost civilization buried beneath the Antarctic ice is a tantalizing one, it remains highly speculative and is not supported by mainstream scientific consensus.